Hey guys, I'm Mark Bridge, and you're watching PG Game Session. Alright, the first news story I want to talk about is the Oculus Rift. We've been waiting for this device for a while now. We've seen demos and we've seen, all the, we heard it talked about a lot, and we've even Facebook buying this thing, and we all always wondered, like, okay, how much is this thing gonna cost? The VR for the phones came out, and it's like $200 or less. I've seen it as low as $100. So we wondered what the price was on this Oculus Rift. Well, now it's available for pre-order for, guess what? $600. Jesus, $600 for this for the Oculus Rift. This is definitely not gonna be a day one get for me. It's a little bit too pricey. Not that I'll wait till it goes down. It's just that I'll wait to see if it's really worth the $600 for me to plop down, and that'll take at least a good 2, 3, 4 months of release since its release for me to like make that decision. Who knows? It may come out the first month, and I'll be like, damn, I really need that. But it's a cool technology to have. I think virtual reality is starting to become a part of gamers' lexicon now, and I think this is just the beginning, and I like where this is going. We'll get to evolve more and more into virtual reality, and trust me, there's a lot of stuff other than gaming that can be done with virtual reality here, right? I got some thoughts, some of them naughty and some of them are just like pretty exciting, like like a interactive kind of narrative to it, where it's not a video game, but it's like like a story, kind of like the holodeck in Star Trek. Maybe that not as advanced, but something along those lines. So there's a lot of stuff you can do with Oculus Rift. So I'm sure there's some justification of why this thing is $600. I mean, I've seen the very cheap version for your phone, and it looks it's pretty cool. So this is more for your computer, so whatever. And I think they're saying that they were developing this thing at a loss, or selling this thing at a loss rather. But if they're selling this thing at a loss, that means this thing costs way more than $600, or they're just bullshitting us and they just need to make some profits off of this thing. So but yeah, $600 for this thing. It's a wait and see for me. But if it's great, if they have great support with developers with this thing, I'm sure it'll take off. Or it could just flop, and then the next iteration of the VR thing is way better. Sony is developing their own VR headgear, called PlayStation VR. Will they charge $600? Probably not, considering that they're probably want to undercut Oculus Rift, and they want to make it so that this is basically built just for the PS4, the PlayStation VR. But in the Oculus Rift, it's basically for the high-end PCs. So, and it's for various games, so they'll probably have to get acclimated to those games and the 3D and all that kind of technology involved in it, while Sony on the other hand is developing it for their platform, and they know the infrastructure of their platform. Any game that's built within that infrastructure is manageable for them. So I don't think the PlayStation VR will be that expensive. It'll probably end up being like $200-300, but not $600. I doubt it. If they manage to make this thing at $600, no one will buy this thing. I guarantee you, they're not gonna buy it. So I would say maybe half the price of an Oculus Rift would be PlayStation VR, and because of that, it may be more successful than Oculus Rift. But time will tell. But let's see if anybody bites the whole Oculus Rift thing. The next news story I want to talk about is, funny enough, the PlayStation. Since launch, the PlayStation has now sold 35.9 million units. Now that's far successful than its predecessor PS3, which, as you know, that was a terrible launch. Everybody cracked on it for its price, for the fact that the games didn't look as good, even though it's a more powerful system. They couldn't make the ports were just horrible on that system because of its infrastructure, and the ease of how you can develop games for the 360 just made that game more attractive platform to build games for, and it was cheaper, and PlayStation 3 was not. But as the PlayStation 3's life got close to the end, it got cheaper, and developers learned to make better games for it, and it was a start of something fresh that Sony learned from. And then once they launched the PS4, they launched it with everything they've learned from last gen. They learned from Microsoft, and funny enough, Microsoft went the complete opposite direction with Xbox and decided to make it a more complex platform, which is now the reverse of last gen. People can't develop for the Xbox One, but it's easier to develop for the PS4 because this PS4 has a more PC-like environment than Xbox One. And it shows. It's 35 million, 36, almost 60, 36 million units sold, and it's a lot of people that's playing the PlayStation right now, and I'm really happy for them. I'm more for I'm talking about video games in general on this channel, but I have to give my preference. I'm gonna let you know my preference right now. I prefer Sony, the Sony platform. I supported Sony ever since the first PlayStation, and regardless of what happened with the PS3, I still stood by them because I knew it was a better platform. It was a better console, and it showed in the exclusive that it was a better console. So even if the multi-platform games didn't work as well on the PS3, I didn't care because the exclusives are what sold me to the Sony platform, and the exclusive what was great about the Sony. And we're seeing this now with PS4, that they're continuing to drop a lot of exclusives, and about 20 exclusive games are coming out in 2016. They really didn't have any exclusive last year. It was mainly just coming out with third-party games and third-party exclusives, or exclusive deals rather. But now they're saying, all right, everybody's buying the PlayStation, let's give them a reason why they have it. And we're getting Last Guardian, we're getting Horizon, we're getting Uncharted 4. We may, probably not. We're probably gonna get that next year. Final Fantasy 7 is probably gonna be next year, but yeah, we have a lot of exclusives coming for PS4, and I'm really excited, and I'm happy for Sony for selling that many units. Now, my final news topic is about Hideo Kojima, the creator of the Metal Gear series, and one of the best video game developers out there. He had a bit of trouble with Konami. Konami basically let him go, but they didn't completely let him go. They basically just had him by the balls. He had to finish Metal Gear Solid 5 before he completely left. Even after that, he wasn't completely gone. He was just basically as a consultant or contractor or whatever, they took his name off Metal Gear Solid 5. They banned him from showing up at the Video Game Awards. All just the nonsense that was happening. But for all his efforts, he finally broke away from Konami. He has his Kojima Productions now, and he's coming out with an exclusive game for PlayStation. It's a very PlayStation-centric episode today. He has an exclusive title coming out for PlayStation, and on top of that, he's going to be honored, inducted in the Hall of Fame at DICE Summit's Expo in February. Now, what DICE Summit is, basically, it's like while you have E3 and these other gaming conventions, it's all about selling the games. It's like, okay, this is the game we have, this is the game we're coming out with, and introducing what kind of game it is. It's about selling the game. But DICE, on the other hand, is about the developers. It's strictly about the developers, and celebrating these developers, and them kind of coming out and showing their experiences. They even bring out games. The games are a part of that, showing you what kind of game they're coming out. So yeah, it comes with the territory. If I'm a developer and I have a platform, I'm going to show you the game I'm developing. So it is about the games as well, but it's solely focused on the developers of that game and not necessarily selling you that game. It's selling you the developer of that game and giving you the confidence of why this game will work, so the developer gets to kind of shine in this light. So it's a perfect opportunity to honor the guy that's for years have given you games that buck the trend. You know, Metal Gear was kind of the first game that says, hey, instead of going around and shooting as many enemies as you can to finish the game, how about the way to finish this game or get a high score is to avoid the enemies? Like, who would have thought of that? You know, a lot of developers would be like, yo, that's boring. Avoiding the enemies? No. But he was able to give you that version of the game, and when it came out on the NES, and then when it came out or Famicom, whatever, and then he gave you like he increased the technology with PS1. You've got Metal Gear Solid. Like, that game was just so amazing. Like, it's still one of the best games of all time today. Continued that with Metal Gear 2, even though it had its problems and people didn't like it as much as 1. Then 3, which just introduced us to this whole nother world of Metal Gear that's continuing even now with Metal Gear Solid 5. And then, you know, but he's sort of a mastermind of this really interesting video game. So yeah, he's definitely worth being inducted in the Hall of Fame, and I'm happy for him, and I can't wait to see what he does with this exclusive deal with Sony. Alright, so that brings us to the end of PG Game Session. I'm Mark Bridge. You can reach me at on Twitter at Marky Tundra. You can like us on Facebook. That's facebook.com/popculturegalaxy. And like and subscribe to this video, and visit Pop Culture Galaxy for all your entertainment goodies. So until next time, folks, I want to say peace.